Dear reader, have you ever come across the striking words of Psalm 2:3? They echo like a challenge. Let us break their chains and throw off their cords. Have you ever wondered what drives someone to want to break free from what God offers? Or what the story of a soul might look like when, in trying to break those chains, discovers they were actually ties of love? Come with me. Dive into this story that may touch your heart and reveal what it truly means to find real freedom in the presence of God. The story of Mariana. At 47 years old, Mariana sat on the porch of her rented house on a quiet street in a small town. The sky was painted pink by the setting sun, and the distant sound of birds felt like an invitation to reflect. In her hands, an open Bible rested on Psalm 2.3, "Let us break their chains and throw off their cords." These words, read during a sleepless night, stirred something deep inside her. They took her back to her youth, when she saw faith as a burden, and to how life had slowly taught her to see those chains with new eyes. Mariana had grown up in a deeply religious family, where the rules of church were as rigid as the walls of her home. Her mother, Donna Elvira, insisted on daily prayers, endless church services, and a long list of don'ts that often felt suffocating. At 18, Mariana made a decision. She wanted to be free. If God is so good, why does He hold me back? She wondered as she packed her bags to leave her parents' home and move to the capital city. She longed to live without restraints, without the chains of faith that to her only meant repression. In the big city, Mariana dove headfirst into a life that promised freedom. She landed a job as an assistant at an advertising agency where life was vibrant, parties, trips, and co-workers who lived in the moment. For a while, she felt in control, finally free from the cords that had bound her. But by the time she reached 30, the weight of reality began to settle. The party nights left emotional hangovers. Relationships came and went, each promising forever but ending in emptiness. Her glamorous job demanded that she compromise her values, lying to clients, manipulating campaigns. She felt free and yet deeply lost. One night, after a heated argument with a boyfriend who stormed out and left her alone in a cold apartment, Mariana stumbled upon an old letter from Donna Elvira, tucked away in a forgotten box. Inside the letter was a handwritten verse, Psalm 2:3. "Why do you want to break God's chains, my daughter?" her mother had written. "They don't bind you, they guide you." Mariana broke down in tears, overwhelmed by the weight of her choices. Could it be that the freedom she had spent so long chasing was actually a trap? Breaking the chains. By 35, Mariana hit a breaking point. The agency where she worked became entangled in a corruption scandal, and she lost her job. With no money and months behind on rent, she had no choice but to return to her hometown. Humbled, defeated, Donna Elvira welcomed her with open arms, without a single word of judgment. "You're home now, my daughter," she said, her smile blending sadness and unconditional love. Still, Mariana resisted. She saw her mother's faith as a cage, not a path to freedom. At the small neighborhood church, Mariana met Pastor Jonas, a 59-year-old man with a calm voice and eyes that seemed to see right through the surface. During a Bible study, he spoke about Psalm 2, where kings and nations rebel against God, crying out to break his chains. Jonas explained, "These chains aren't prisons, they are the ties of God's love, guiding us toward true freedom. When we try to break them, we only end up enslaving ourselves." His words struck a chord. Mariana began to realize that her pursuit of freedom had only led to new prisons, the need to constantly prove herself, the endless chase for validation, the emptiness of a life without purpose. Slowly, she started reading the Bible again, not out of obligation, but from curiosity. Psalm 2:3 confronted her. She had tried to shake off God's cords, but where had it truly led her? The cords of love. Mariana decided it was time to rebuild. With Donna Elvira's help, she started working at a local flower shop. The job was simple, but it brought a joy she hadn't felt in years. Tending to flowers, helping customers choose arrangements for meaningful moments, it felt like she was planting something new, both literally and spiritually. At church, she joined the choir, where she met Anna, a 50-year-old woman who had lost her son to violence. Anna and Mariana became close friends, sharing their wounds and hopes as they sang hymns about a God who never gives up on his children. One day, while arranging a bouquet of sunflowers, Mariana received heartbreaking news. Donna Elvira had been hospitalized with heart problems. The fear of losing her mother forced Mariana to confront her life choices once again. Sitting at her mother's bedside, holding her hand, Mariana whispered a prayer. God, I don't want to break your chains anymore. Show me your way. Donna Elvira, frail but smiling, whispered back, You're already on the way, my daughter, just trust. Donna Elvira recovered, and something inside Mariana shifted. She felt a calling. She began helping at church, organizing events for the youth and sharing her story of rebellion and return. I wanted to be free, she often told them, but I only found real freedom when I accepted God's cords, not as shackles, but as the loving arms that guide me. Her story resonated deeply, especially with young people who, like her younger self, saw faith as a burden, a new kind of freedom. At 47, Mariana had become a different woman. Her home, filled with flowers and photos of Donna Elvira, was a haven of peace. At the flower shop, she became a co-owner, transforming the space into a gathering point for the community. In the choir, her once timid voice now rang out with conviction. She also began writing letters to the youth in the church, just as her mother had once written to her, each one including a Bible verse and a word of encouragement. One afternoon, while watering the plants, Mariana received a call from Anna. You need to see this, Anna said, her voice full of emotion. She showed Mariana a drawing made by a teenager from their youth group, inspired by Mariana's story. It was a tree, with deep roots and branches full of flowers, surrounded by golden cords. These cords didn't hold the tree back, they supported it. Next to the drawing was written Psalm 2:3, along with the words, God's cords are love. Mariana wept, realizing that she had finally fully understood what it meant to be free. The meaning of Psalm 2:3. Psalm 2:3 is part of a psalm that portrays the rebellion of nations against God and His anointed. The kings of the earth cry out, Let us break their chains and throw off their cords. It's the voice of those who see God's authority not as protection, but as oppression. In context, these words reflect the heart of those who reject God's rule, pursuing a false freedom that ultimately enslaves them. The chains and cords of God. For Mariana, these chains once seemed like the rigid rules of her childhood, but she came to realize they were God's loving boundaries, His word, His commandments, that protect and guide. These cords aren't meant to bind, but to hold like a safety harness on a dangerous road. Rebellion and its consequences. The desire to break free reflects the human heart's longing for autonomy at any cost. Mariana experienced this in her youth, choosing what looked like freedom apart from God, only to find emptiness. This psalm reminds us that such rebellion leads to instability, loneliness, and loss. True freedom. The entire Psalm 2 shows that true freedom is found not in breaking away from God, but in submitting to Him. Mariana discovered that God's cords were actually ties of love, leading to a life filled with purpose, peace, and meaningful connection. A reflection for the heart. Dear reader, have you ever felt the urge to break free from God's chains? Perhaps faith or God's ways have seemed to you like a burden, something that holds back your dreams. Or maybe you've grown tired of trying to live without Him, chasing a freedom that only leads to emptiness. Psalm 2:3 is a gentle invitation to see these chains with new eyes. They are not prisons, they are protection. They are not ropes that tie you down, but cords that hold you up. Mariana learned that real freedom is found in walking with God, in embracing His cords as an embrace of love. And what about you? What cords are you trying to shake off? What if, instead of breaking them, you allowed yourself to be held by the love of a God who never lets you fall? May your life be guided by these cords of love, leading you to a freedom that only God can give.